Patti Smith Hill and Mildred J. Hill are the most famous songwriters in the world. The song they wrote has made tens of millions of dollars, but most people don't know why. Practically no one has ever heard of them, but everyone across the world has heard their song, Happy Birthday, and sadly, very few know how this song began.
Two sisters, Patti Smith Hill and Mildred J. Hill, created the Happy Birthday song, although it was originally called Good Morning to You. The lyrics were, Good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning dear children, good morning to all. The words to the song have been altered since then, but the tune is the same. Mildred wrote the tune, while Patti wrote the lyrics for her and her kindergarten students to sing when they walked into the room in the morning.
During the 1800s, singing with students as a teaching method was very unrealistic to a lot of people. Such a thing was unheard of at a time, especially by women. But Patti and Mildred were taught this from their mother, who had a similar teaching method. When the sisters were young, they were homeschooled by their mother, who taught them most of their education by singing songs. Mildred was the oldest of 6 kids, and Patti was the 4th born. Their siblings were Mary, William, Archibald, and Jessica, and the family lived in Louisville, Kentucky. They soon went on vacation to Missouri for a month in hopes that their father's health would improve. But unfortunately, their father died, and the sisters' devastated mother, Martha Hill, returned the family back to Kentucky. Because their mother had no job, and it was nearly impossible in the late 1800s for a woman to get a job, she took in boarders. Then the family had to overcome a typhoid epidemic. The family also had extreme financial trouble and dealt with more sickness. Their brother, William, worked for $1 a week. Although their grandfather sent them a cow, they sold it for 3 weeks of food. They only got through because of some kind neighbors and their very kind grandfather. In 1882, their grandfather's legacy left them some money, which Martha, the mother, and William managed well. Now that the family was financially stable, Patti and Jessica could attend school at Louisville Collegiate Institute. Before her father died, he often told his children that they would have a high education, every single one of them. Now Patti and Jessica were fulfilling their father's wishes and continued to go to school until they graduated. After she graduated, Patti heard about the kindergarten movement through a newspaper article by Anna Bryan, who became one of Patti's good friends. Bryan was working with the kindergarten movement and invited Patti to be one of her students. Patti accepted. They worked together to find more successful kindergarten teaching methods. Patti loved working with kindergartners so much that when she was chosen as valedictorian, she chose children's play as her speech subject. After Patti completed her training with Anna Bryan, Bryan handed over the responsibility of directing the Louisville Free Kindergarten Society so that Bryan could teach elsewhere. The two continued to be good friends, though they were now colleagues instead of close students. As Patti took over more and more of Bryan's work, she developed new methods of teaching similar to how Patti and Mildred's mother taught them, including creating Patti Blocks, a toy for the children, and creating a songbook that includes the best-known song in the world, Happy Birthday to You. It actually started as a song called Good Morning to You with lyrics like this. Good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning dear children, good morning to all. While Patti was writing the lyrics, her sister Mildred was composing the tune, which she did for many other well-known children's songs in a book called Song Stories for the Kindergartner.
Good Morning to All was flourishing. The catchy tune and easy lyrics were very appealing to kindergartners. One evening, Patti and Mildred were practicing for a new song. They were experimenting with switching up the lyrics to Good Morning to All, and one of the suggestions was Happy Birthday. Patti changed the lyrics a bit, but they were remotely the same as Good Morning to All. Instead of the words Good Morning to All, it was Happy Birthday to You. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend, happy birthday to you. Not long after Good Morning to All's new lyrics were expanded to Happy Birthday, Patti was honored at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair for her unique kindergarten work. This was a big step toward women's having more civil rights because in 1893, women could not vote, nor did they have many civil rights. At the fair, Patty and the crowd sang Happy Birthday, which helped spread the news of a new children's song. The entire idea of women leading a kindergarten movement or writing a song in the 1800s that was sung at a World's Fair that ended up being the most recognized song in the world was so unheard of, but Patty didn't. She persevered, but her work on the Happy Birthday song was almost destroyed. The Bandwagon, a Broadway show, put Happy Birthday in their play in 1931. It was also used by Western Union as a stunt for their first ever singing telegram, and it was used in another Broadway show. Patty and Mildred's sister, Jessica, filed a lawsuit. Jessica asked for a large sum of money and got it. She won the case. Thanks to the song's similarities to Good Morning to You, Happy Birthday song was copyrighted for all public use in 1935. This copyright made millions of dollars. Every time it was used in a movie, in a restaurant, practically everywhere except for home, people had to pay royalties. In a major movie, that could mean $20,000 to $30,000. Jessica became very involved in the copyright of her sister's song. By that time, Patty was too occupied as professor at Columbia College to take charge. Patty was not as interested in the income as she was about how people participated as they sang the song together. Good Morning to All's lyrics were not just limited to Happy Birthday. At most schools, whenever any holiday or event that was coming up, the teacher would just simply change the lyrics to fit their needs. That was the goal of Patty and Mildred. They wanted a song that involved participation instead of onlookers watching a singer.
The money made from the Happy Birthday song used to go to Patty, then to her nephew, Archibald Anderson Hill, son of Archibald Hill. A small business named Birch Tree bought the song's copyright. For several years, Birch Tree kept the copyright, and when they sold their company to music publisher Warner Chappell in 1988, Happy Birthday's copyright went with it. In 2010, the copyright was set to expire, but didn't. So in 2013, filmmaker Jennifer Nelson filed a lawsuit to end the copyright. The lawsuit was put into action when the court declared that Happy Birthday was now in the public domain. Now Warner Chappell would have to stop collecting licensing royalties and pay back the $14 million to people who had previously paid for use.
Happy Birthday made millions of dollars when the copyright was in effect. In the 1950s, it made $20,000 a year. In the 1990s, it made $1 million a year. And before 2016, in the early 2000s, it made close to $2 million a year. Happy Birthday impacted the world by showing that such a simple song could become famous and make so many people feel celebrated. All of Patty's hard work to become an amazing teacher paid off when she became one of the first women professors at Columbia College, which showed that women can be as impactful as men. Patty and Mildred's creation, Happy Birthday, eventually became so famous that Louisville, Kentucky thought of a way to honor them that will last for generations to come. Happy Birthday Park is being built for them right now for small children to have fun and remember the authors of the most famous song in the world. Happy Birthday broke barriers by being the most recognized song in the world. It even set a world record in 1998 for being the most recognized tune, and that is still true today. Happy Birthday was translated into hundreds of languages and put into many movies. It was sung in countless parks, restaurants, homes, and more. This song was the first English heard by many people who lived in other countries. This helped English become one of the most spoken languages in the world. Happy Birthday was written by two women during a time when women didn't have very many rights. Happy Birthday has greatly influenced the world around us today.